This poorly framed edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by SACL, C-A-I. Dave Ridley here, reporting in for RidleyReport.com with a general roundup of Liberty news in New Hampshire this November 30th, 2007. The fallout continues after New Hampshire's popular NHFree.com forum announces plans to lock its political section. NHFree.com had become possibly the most active political discussion web forum in the entire state of New Hampshire. But forum administrators say they're going to lock and archive the section. Administrators Russell and Kat Canning say they consider pretty much all politics to be evil, and they want discussion of it taken somewhere else. That's triggered plenty of concern from political people who used the NHFree.com forum. But two different political activists have already stepped forward with replacement political forums. There's Jane Aiken's forum at nhlibertycalendar.org, which had already been around for about 8 months but was not widely used. And Lex Berezny of Grafton has set up a news site, nhpoliticalaction.com. It's exclusively a web forum. It went into action around November 27th and is growing relatively fast for the first 2 days, but there haven't been any new members join in the last 24 hours. Forum administrator Kat Canning. Kat says the decision of political Free Staters to ally themselves with Senator Sununu and make him a keynote speaker at the January Liberty Forum was what made her decide to push party politics off the site. Locking of the political forums is tentatively set for December 1st, but Canning says she'll give the political people as much time as they need to get off the site. Not necessarily get off the site, but to make the switch to a new site for the political discussions. The move has caused at least one prominent political Free Staters, Don Lincoln of Westmoreland, to withdraw from the NHFree.com site. My own take on this is probably a little bit different from that of other folks. I do political stuff and apolitical stuff and civil disobedience and whatnot. I'm all over it. But I don't think we want the freedom movement to be too united. I have this expression, united we stand, divided we rise. And in that, what I mean is, decentralization is one of the most important things for a movement like ours. We don't want to have any one center of activity. No clearly defined leaders, no clearly defined headquarters. That's when we're at our best. And NHFree.com was beginning to become a headquarters. This is not how I used to think about it, but I remember what happened in 2004 when the Free State Project Forum wanted to kick out our discussion, my discussion, of a UN flag burn in Keene. I was not thrilled at the time that they wanted to do this, but what happened is they kicked us off. Well, they didn't really kick us off, but they had a sort of eventually shut down discussion of operations on the Free State Project board, and that gave birth to NHFree.com. So what I look at this as NHFree.com giving birth to two beautiful baby successor websites. And I don't know if both of them will survive, but I think at least one of them will both survive and thrive, because there does need to be a place for people to gather and plot and scheme their political action for freeing us in New Hampshire. I've already joined nhpoliticalaction.org, and I may join Jane's site as well before too long. And if I get the chance, I'll be voting for Senator Sununu. I'm not sure he's my senator, but if he is, I'll vote for him. He's one of the more pro-liberty senators in the U.S. Senate, and he's better than any of his potential opponents, as best I can tell. However, I'll also be staying on NHFree.com, and I'll be staying friends with all the people who protest Senator Sununu. Other New Hampshire liberty news, Operation Live Free or Die activists continued filtering into the state. Folks like Laura and Wes here. Based on listening to them, I think it might be appropriate to inform them of some potential pitfalls they may run into while they're new in New Hampshire. Many New Hampshire towns are not pronounced the way you would expect, and it is the mark of an outsider to mispronounce certain towns. Let me explain. There is no such thing as a Concord, New Hampshire. There is no Berlin, New Hampshire. Let me give you the correct pronunciations. Concord, Berlin, Nashua, Portsmouth, Concord, Berlin, Nashua, Portsmouth, Concord, Berlin, Nashua, Portsmouth. Repeat after me. Concord, Berlin, Nashua, Portsmouth, Concord, Berlin, Nashua, Portsmouth. Say it over and over till you get it right. You'll fit in a lot better if you do that. By the way, though, I do want to make clear the people who I just showed in the video, Laura and Wes, I never heard them make any mispronunciations. So good job, Laura and Wes.
You can take control of the airwaves toll-free 800.
Another event worth mentioning as New Hampshire Liberty activity unfolds. Ian Bernard from Free Talk Live recently had an interesting experience that I think was also interesting for many listeners. Ian got a chance to co-host at AM 1290 in Keene, Western New Hampshire's top talk radio station, in what proved to be an extremely lively exchange.
And good Saturday morning. Welcome to Talk Back. I'm Cynthia Georgina. Our guest host this morning is Ian Bernard.
Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning. And Ian is a member of the Free State Project.
This is the worst show I've ever heard.
I'm sorry.
It is terrible. It's like a 2-hour commercial for a naive, immature, antisocial.
Oh, well, nice ad hominem attacks there, sir.
Please
Real
don't
bright.
talk to me. I don't suffer people like you very
Well, you
well.
called the show with me on it, but you don't want to talk to me?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Ian, you're doing fine. I've enjoyed listening to you this morning.
You can pull up the archive of that show and listen to it for free on the Free Talk Live website at freetalklive.com. In the overall scheme of things, guest hosts hosting on a local radio station is far from being the biggest accomplishment Free Staters have ever managed. But getting on the air on local radio and TV stations is a key Free Stater goal, and Ian is achieving it. Earlier this month, WKBK began airing his show, Free Talk Live, from 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. every Saturday night. Also this week comes news that a prominent Ed Brown supporter, currently jailed, will come up for hearing at Concord in Federal District Court. The individual is not shown in these pictures. There's a shot of Ed and Lane Brown being interviewed on CATV earlier this year. But anyway, the news is that their supporter, Bob Wolfe, who was jailed, is supposed to be up for hearing this week in Concord on, actually next week, December 7th. For details, go to calendar.nhfree.com and look under December 7th. I've tentatively scheduled another micro-demonstration to occur in front of the federal building in Concord on that day, assuming the arraignment date is not changed. This is Dave Ridley with RidleyReport.com, signing off. SACL, C-A-I. They're a company that does collections a whole new way. They know that not only do you want your money back, you want to keep your customers. SACL, C-A-I. They collect with respect.